What would you do if the most powerful voice in the room didn't raise its volume, but simply sat still and refused to be moved? This is the story of a man who didn't chase justice. He brewed it, sip by sip, in a tucked-away cafe on the quiet side of Baton Rouge. A man named Malik Jefferson took his usual seat and ignited a reckoning he never asked for. He didn't carry signs, he carried silence. He didn't plead for rights, he held his dignity like armor. And when authority came crashing, he didn't resist with fists. He reached for a phone and changed everything. This story isn't just about a veteran. It's not just about a diner. It's about the ripple effect of stillness, the weight of being seen, and what happens when the world is forced to listen to the man it forgot. So if you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever wondered what quiet courage looks like, don't blink, don't scroll. This is the story of the cafe seat that refused to stay silent, and the man who proved that presence can be the loudest voice in the room. It's just past 7:45 a.m. on a fog-thick Tuesday in Baton Rouge, the kind of morning where the air feels heavier than usual, like it's carrying something it hasn't said yet. There's a diner tucked between a laundromat and a hardware store. On Beechwood Drive, the sign outside flickers. It's old, but the kind of old people trust. Inside, there's no music, just the soft clink of forks on ceramic and the low hum of tired conversation. In the back corner, booth 9, sits Malik Jefferson. Same seat, every week, same time, every Tuesday. He's not there for the view, just the peace. Malik's jacket is military surplus, frayed at the elbows, faded at the collar, still folded sharp across his chest like he cares how it sits. His beard is streaked gray, trimmed short. His boots are scuffed but polished. He smells faintly of menthol and machine oil. He reads the paper, not his phone. Always starts with the local section. The world can wait. Rosa, the manager, waves at him from the counter. Her apron's already got 2 coffee stains and it's not even 8 yet. "Morning, Mr. J," she calls. "You want the usual?" Malik doesn't speak much, just nods once. 2 scrambled eggs, grits, turkey sausage, not pork. Toast, dry, and a cup of black coffee, hot strong. No sugar. Rosa's daughter Naomi is helping today. She's 16, full of questions and always watching. Whispers to her mom, "Why's he always sit back there alone?" Rosa doesn't pause her pouring, because that's where you sit when you've seen more than you can ever explain. Naomi doesn't understand. Not yet. Malik taps the rim of his coffee mug twice. A quiet habit, like a clock restarting. He watches the morning outside through streaked glass, folks hurrying to beat traffic, nurses in scrubs, line cooks in hairnets, the rhythm of people just trying to make it. He nods once at a sanitation worker passing by. The man nods back, like it's a ritual. No words, just knowing. Malik isn't homeless, but he isn't settled either. He's somewhere in between. The kind of in-between that America forgets how to see. His mailbox is a shelter downtown. His sleep is shallow. His mornings are sacred. At least here, in this booth. He's Malik, not a case number. Not a problem to be managed. Just a man who likes his eggs hot and his coffee hotter. The radio crackles softly above the counter. Weather report. Chance of rain. Possible traffic delays near the interstate. Malik doesn't flinch. He's lived through worse storms. The bell above the diner door jingles. 2 officers step in, their boots loud on the tile. Malik doesn't look up, yet. But something in the air shifts, and the story begins. The 2 officers that entered don't look around. They don't wave at Rosa. They don't glance at the counter. They walk straight toward booth 9. Malik doesn't react. Not at first, but Rosa sees it. The slight shift in his shoulders, the way his fingers stop tapping the mug. One of the officers, broad-shouldered, buzz-cut, badge barely fastened, leans forward. "Sir," he says, "you a customer here?" Malik looks up, calm. "I am." "You buy anything?" The other asks, lighter hair, sharper tone. "Breakfast on the way," Malik replies. The first cop nods toward the register. "You got a receipt?" Before Malik can speak, Rosa cuts in from behind the counter. He's good. He's here every eye. Weak. I took the order myself. The officer doesn't look at her. Ma'am, no need to interfere. Naomi frowns. She's halfway through wiping a table nearby. What's going on? She whispers. Rosa's lips tighten. Nothing yet. The second officer steps in closer. You carrying ID? Malik nods slowly. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out a worn leather wallet. Edges cracked. He slides a veteran's ID card across the table. The first officer picks it up, scoffs. This all you got? It's all I need, Malik says, his tone steady, unapologetic. The second officer, Martinez, the name tag reads, writes something in a small notepad. How long you been here? Malik glances at the clock. About 20 minutes. How long you planning on staying? Long enough to eat. Rosa sets the plate on the table. Hands firm but quiet. 2 eggs, grits, turkey sausage, toast, dry. Exactly how he asked. Martinez raises an eyebrow. He already ordered? Rosa folds her arms. Yes, sir, like he does every Tuesday. The larger cop, Brennan, leans back slightly. You homeless? Malik breathes in once, deep. I don't have an address, but I have a name, and I have a place at this table. Naomi whispers to Rosa. Why are they bothering him? Rosa shakes her head. Because sometimes wearing the wrong jacket is enough. The diner goes quieter than before. Even the eggs sizzling on the griddle seem to hush. A man by the window lowers his coffee. A couple near the door stops mid-conversation. Everyone's listening now, but no one speaks. Malik takes a bite, chews slow, swallows, wipes his mouth with a napkin, then says, I served 20 years, moved cargo under fire, pulled men out of wrecks. Now I'm eating breakfast. So what exactly do you need from me today? Martinez doesn't answer, just keeps writing. Brennan's hand rests on his belt, not yet on the holster, but close. Malik notices, so does Rosa, so does half the room. But Malik's voice stays level. I'm not a threat, I'm just tired. Rosa's voice rises just slightly. Officers, if there's no crime, I'd appreciate it if you let the man eat. Brennan turns, real slow. Ma'am, we got a report. From who? Rosa snaps. He doesn't answer, just shrugs, as if a whisper on a radio was enough. Naomi steps closer to her mom. Malik finishes his bite, reaches into his jacket again. Not for a wallet, not for ID. This time it's a phone, old flip style. He presses one button, lifts it to his ear. Waits, says just 3 words. It's happening again. And that's when everything changes. The words are barely above a whisper, but somehow they echo. It's happening again. Rosa freezes. Naomi's eyes go wide. The 2 officers glance at each other, confused, suspicious. Brennan steps forward. What did you just say? Malik closes the flip phone slowly, sets it down on the table right beside the napkin. I said, Malik repeats, calm as ever. It's happening again. The diner is dead silent. A fork clinks against a plate in the distance. Outside, a car door slams. Inside, time stretches thin. Martinez shifts his weight. His fingers twitch near his radio. He leans toward Brennan. You think he just called backup? Brennan shakes his head. Doesn't smell like gang nonsense. Still feels off. Malik picks up his coffee, takes a slow sip, sets it back down. You said you were just doing your job, he says evenly. Now I'm doing mine. Brennan bristles. Sir, I'm going to need you to step outside. Malik doesn't move. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't blink. Am I being detained? No, Martinez says quickly. Just a conversation. Then I'll finish my breakfast. He gestures at his plate. Toast untouched, eggs half gone. Rosa edges closer. Malik. He looks up softly. I told you I'd never bring trouble here. And in that moment, the door swings open. Hard. Fast. The bell doesn't jingle. It chokes. A man steps in. Mid-40s. Charcoal suit. Federal calm. He walks like he owns the sidewalk. Like He doesn't knock. He scans the room once, then heads straight for booth 9. Rosa gasps. Is that... Malik nods once. Raymond Cole doesn't look at Malik. Not yet. He flashes a black leather badge wallet. Special Agent Cole, Department of Justice. His voice is sharp, unhurried. Brennan steps back, posture stiff. Martinez stammers. Sir, we were just... There was no call. Cole cuts in. We monitor flagged phrases on active lines. That one? He points to the flip phone. It belongs to one of ours. Brennan swallows. We didn't know. You didn't ask. Cole glances around. 2 officers enter a business. Question a veteran, no crime committed, no warrant, no probable cause. He turns to Rosa. You the manager? She nods, stunned. Has Mr. Jefferson caused any problems? Never, she says. Not once. Cole turns back. Badge numbers. Now. Martinez fumbles. Pulls a notepad from his pocket. Brennan hesitates. Cole. Doesn't? He steps closer. Lower voice, he doesn't need to shout. Your cameras are on, your radio's recorded. You're both going to answer questions downtown. Malik finally exhales. Not relief, but confirmation. Rosa watches, stunned. Naomi grips the edge of the counter. Cole nods once at Malik. You all right? Malik sips his coffee again. Fine now. Good. Cole looks to the officers. Step outside. They... No argument, just like that, gone. The diner breathes again, but it's changed. Everyone knows it, everyone saw, and it all started with 3 quiet words. It's happening again. Silence after they leave is loud. Too loud. Chairs creak, dishes clink, but no one says a word. Cole doesn't sit. He stands beside Malik's booth, hands behind his back, like he's guarding something sacred. Malik finally speaks. You didn't have to come in person. I did, Cole replies. You earned that. Naomi edges closer, still holding her dish towel like a shield. Who is he? She whispers to Rosa. Rosa's voice cracks. Someone with more pull than the mayor. Cole turns to her. I apologize for the disruption. Rosa shakes her head. No, thank you, you saw it. They do this to people who have no one to call. Cole's eyes narrow. Not anymore. He looks down at Malik. You sure you're okay? Malik nods. Just didn't want your name dragged through it. Cole smirks. I don't care about names. I care about people who did their job when it counted. Malik leans back. His coffee's gone cold. Doesn't matter. Rosa returns with a fresh cup, pours it slow. No words, just presence. You still working out of New Orleans? Malik asks. Mostly, but I commute more than I sleep. Figures. You still writing that book? Malik shrugs. Too many stories, too little peace. Cole nods. He doesn't push, just says, they'll be on desk duty by noon. Suspended? Pending full review. Body cam footage, complaint record, everything. Malik doesn't smile. But something in his jaw relaxes. Naomi clears her throat. She's still staring. I've never seen someone make cops back down like that. Malik raises an eyebrow. You don't fight fire with fire. You fight it with facts and friends who remember. Cole chuckles softly. Still preaching, huh? Malik sips his coffee, still tired of repeating myself. Cole steps aside, slides a card onto the table. This has my direct line. If anyone else gives you trouble, I'll call. No questions asked. Malik nods once. Naomi walks away slowly, but not before whispering, "Thank you." Malik doesn't reply, just watches her go. She'll remember this day for the rest of her life. Not because of the uniforms, but because of who stood up without shouting. Cole heads toward the door, pauses, looks over his shoulder. You coming to that reunion this fall? Depends who's cooking. Cole grins. Tell Gus to pack the gumbo. We'll see you there. And with that, he's gone. Just a man, in a wool coat, walking back into the morning mist. But what he left behind was just as quiet, clear, and overdue. It started with a whisper. A customer near the counter had been filming, not to stir drama, just instinct. Something about the way Malik stayed still while the officers didn't. They uploaded it to TikTok with the caption, "This man didn't flinch, but the cops did." Within an hour, it had over 50,000 views. By noon, it had crossed $300,000. By the end of the day, it was everywhere. News outlets picked it up. Reddit threads dissected every moment. YouTube channels added commentary. Someone found the audio from the officers' body cams. Leaked, unfiltered, uncomfortable. The diner's name was tagged, so was Rosa, so was Malik, except Malik didn't know yet. He didn't do social media, didn't even own a smartphone. He was still sitting in the same booth, drinking the same cup of coffee. Naomi was the first to break the news. She came over holding her phone like it was hot. "Mr. J, you're viral." Malik blinked. "I'm what?" She turned the screen toward him. It showed the exact moment he said, "It's happening again." And Cole stepping through the door, and two armed officers backing down. Malik didn't say a word. Didn't touch the phone, just watched, then looked away. "I didn't ask for that," he said. "No, sir," Rosa added softly, "but maybe people needed to see it." Later that night, a reporter called the diner, asked if Malik would do an interview. Rosa handed him the cordless. Malik didn't even say hello. He just asked one question. "Did you serve?" The line went quiet. The reporter said no. Malik hung up. The next morning, flowers showed up at the cafe. No note, just a ribbon that said, "To those who sit when others stand against them." Then came the offers. Nonprofits, veterans groups. One woman wanted to start a GoFundMe, said he deserved a house. Malik refused. "Not because I'm proud," he told Rosa, "but because this wasn't a charity case. It was a boundary." A week later, CNN called. Rosa didn't even ask him. She just said no. The video didn't fade. It kept growing. People clipped it, dubbed it, memed it. Malik became a symbol. Not by choice, by necessity. But the truth? He still just wanted peace. One day, a young black father brought his son into the diner. He pointed at Malik. "That's the man I told you about." The boy looked confused. Malik looked tired, but still, he nodded and whispered, "Keep your voice. Come your back straight and your name intact." The father teared up. Rosa handed him a napkin. The man said, "You gave us something to show our kids. That matters." Malik didn't answer. He never needed to. His story was already out, even if he never spoke another word. The days that followed weren't quiet. They were something else. Restless, charged. People kept showing up. Not for the pancakes, not for the coffee. They came for booth 9, to see where it happened, to whisper about Malik. Some asked for selfies. Others just left notes. "Thank you for standing your ground, you made us proud." But Malik didn't care for that. He came at the same time, ordered the same breakfast, sat the same way. He didn't change, but the world around him did. Rosa got calls from local schools. They wanted Malik to speak, tell the kids about respect. One principal said. Malik said no. Not because he didn't care, but because his words weren't speeches. They were choices. Lived, earned, felt. Cole called again. He said, "You've started something." Malik said, "I started breakfast." But deep down, he knew it wasn't just about eggs and toast anymore. The Baton Rouge City Council scheduled a hearing. Malik was invited. He didn't attend. He wrote a letter instead. Rosa read it aloud. I'm not a hero. I'm not a headline. I'm a man who got tired of being measured by what I lacked instead of what I gave." The room went silent. One council member wept. By the next week, Rosa's diner had a line out the door. Reporters tried to sneak in, but the regulars kept them out. "This ain't a studio," Gus growled from the kitchen. "This is a home." Veterans started arriving. Men and women in faded jackets, some in wheelchairs, some who hadn't been out in months. They sat near Malik. Didn't say much, just nodded. That was enough. Malik said one thing to a young vet from Shreveport. "Don't let silence turn into erasure." That stuck. It made the papers. It ended up on t-shirts. Naomi made one herself. Mr. J's rules, it read. Stay calm, speak truth, don't apologize for existing. She wore it to school. Her teacher cried. Malik didn't know what to do with all the attention, but Rosa did. She carved a plaque for Booth 9, didn't ask permission, didn't need to. She placed it on the wall behind him. In simple script it said, "This seat belongs to those who carry more than they show." Malik never mentioned it, but he never asked her to take it down either. People started donating quietly. They left cash on the counter. Rosa gave it to shelters, to the local VA office, to a tutoring program Naomi started. Because if Malik taught us anything, Rosa said, it's that real power isn't loud, it's consistent. And just like that, what began as one man defending his dignity became a blueprint for how to hold ground without raising your voice. It was a Sunday. No cameras, no crowds, just regulars, and the smell of eggs on the griddle. Malik walked in at 7:42, right on time, same jacket, same boots. But something about him felt different, like stillness with weight behind it. He didn't sit down. Instead, he stood near the counter. Rosa noticed first, then Naomi, then everyone else. Forks paused midair. Mugs stopped halfway to mouths. Malik cleared his throat. Soft, but enough. I've got something to say. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. The room already belonged to him. I didn't mean to become a name, he began. I just wanted coffee. A few small laughs, but they faded quick. This place, he said, has always been safe for me. He looked at Rosa. Because you never asked me to explain myself. He looked at Naomi. You listened without judgment. He looked at the veterans. You nodded when no one else would. I didn't speak for attention. I spoke because silence was costing too much. Malik let that hang. Then he continued. I wore a uniform. I followed orders. I carried gear, weapons, fear, and sometimes my brother's bodies. A beat. But the hardest weight I've ever carried is being questioned in my own country for simply sitting down. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. I'm not asking for pity, I'm asking for presence, for awareness, for humanity. That doesn't wait for a viral video to recognize itself. Rosa was crying. So was Naomi. Even Gus stepped out from the kitchen, hands greasy, eyes full. We say freedom isn't free, Malik said. But too often we treat its keepers like receipts we lost. He pulled something from his jacket. A folded American flag, frayed, faded, edges torn. I carried this in every country I landed in. I watched it wave during firefights, fold during funerals, and disappear in the eyes of men who came back and never felt seen again. He unfolded it, laid it across booth 9, slow, careful. This flag doesn't owe me anything. But the people beneath it do. That was the moment. No applause, just standing. Every person in the diner stood. Rosa, Naomi, the old men with scars on their hands, the teenagers who'd only seen war in textbooks. Everyone not out of habit, not for a pledge, but for him. Malik nodded once, then finally sat. His booth, his seat, his story, spoken and heard. The diner went back to its rhythm. Eventually, forks scraped plates, coffee steamed. But something was different now, not just in that cafe. Across Baton Rouge, across screens, across hearts. People started showing up for more than food. They came to see proof that dignity could hold its ground, that silence could roar, that a man with nothing to prove could still prove everything. Malik never chased the spotlight. He just kept showing up. Same jacket, same booth. But now, his story traveled farther than he ever did in uniform. It reached the desks of policymakers, the hearts of teenagers, the homes of those who thought they were invisible. He reminded a country what quiet resistance looks like, and reminded those watching, courage doesn't always march. Sometimes, it sits down and drinks coffee. So the next time you see someone alone at a table, don't look away, don't scroll past, because they might be carrying more than we'll ever know. And if Malik Jefferson taught us anything, it's that you don't have to shout to be heard. You just have to speak when it matters, and stay seated long enough for truth to catch up.